Alright, let's talk about one of the most stylish and powerful characters in Wuthering Waves, Ciaccona. If you've already pulled her, or you're thinking about building her, you're in for a treat. She's not just eye-catching, her kit can dish out serious damage when built right. Echo sets? Pretty straightforward. You know the drill. Focus on the right stats, match the right bonuses, and you're good to go. But when it comes to weapons, yeah, things get a little tricky. There's no one-size-fits-all answer here, and that's exactly what makes this list so fun to dive into. So in this video, we're ranking the best weapons for Ciaccona, breaking down why each one works, how they change her playstyle, and which ones are actually worth your resources. Whether you're a new player looking for early game options or someone chasing peak performance in high-level content, we've got picks for everyone. Let's find the perfect weapon to unleash her full potential.
A very small portion of the audience is subscribed to the channel.
If you enjoy these types of
Please don't forget to subscribe if you like these types of videos.
Enjoy watching.
Thanks.
Alright, let's talk about a weapon that's not exactly a game changer, but can definitely hold its own. Relativistic Jet. If you are building Ciaccona in Wuthering Waves and you do not have access to any of her top tier weapon choices, this one can actually help you out more than you might expect. With a solid base attack of 462 and a substat that boosts attack by 18%, it gives you a decent offensive foundation to work with, especially in the early to mid game. What makes Relativistic Jet somewhat interesting is its passive effect. When you cast Ciaccona's Resonance skill, it grants 10 Resonance energy and gives you a 20% attack boost for 16 seconds. Sure, you can only trigger this once every 20 seconds, so it is not something you can rely on non-stop, but it gives you that little push during key combat moments. The extra resonance energy is also great for keeping your ultimate rotations flowing just a bit more smoothly, which Ciaccona really appreciates. Now, let's be real, it is not the dream weapon for her. There are definitely better options out there that synergize more tightly with her kit. But if your inventory is looking a little empty, or you are just unlucky with drops, Relativistic Jet is far from the worst fallback. It covers her basic needs, more attack, more energy, and a straightforward passive that does not require much micromanagement. Equip it, focus on landing those resonance skills, and let Ciaccona do her thing until you find her a proper upgrade. Next up is Nova Burst, a weapon that might not scream perfect match for Ciaccona, but actually does a decent job, especially if you are looking for something that's easy to work with. It comes with a base attack of 412, which is slightly lower than Relativistic Jet, but it makes up for that with a hefty 30% attack substat. That alone gives Ciaccona a nice damage boost right out of the gate. What really makes Nova Burst stand out is its passive ability. Every time Ciaccona dashes or dodges, she gains an 8% attack boost, and it stacks up to 3 times. That means with just a bit of movement, you are looking at a solid 24% attack increase. The best part? Ciaccona is a natural at dodging. Her playstyle already involves weaving in and out of attacks, so triggering this passive is both easy and consistent. Even though it is not a perfect fit in terms of synergy with her skills or resonance energy generation, Nova Burst actually edges out Relativistic Jet on the list of Ciaccona's viable weapons. It gives you more consistent attack bonuses with less reliance on cooldowns, and it rewards good positioning and mobility. If you do not have any of her top tier options, this is a strong, simple pick that gets the job done without overcomplicating things. Let's talk about Cadenza, a weapon that takes a different approach compared to the usual attack boosting choices. With a base attack of 337, it is definitely on the lower end of the spectrum, but that is not why you would give this to Ciaccona. What makes Cadenza stand out is its massive 51% energy regeneration substat, which is perfect if your focus is to get her abilities cycling more frequently rather than just raw damage. Cadenza really shines when you are using Ciaccona in a support or sub-DPS role, especially if she is not meant to stay on the field for long. The passive effect kicks in whenever you activate her resonance skill. It restores 16 concerto energy, which is a pretty big deal when you are trying to trigger her outro skill as quickly as possible. Since the effect only has a 20-second cooldown, it fits nicely into her rotation and keeps your team's overall synergy running smoothly. If you are not lucky enough to have a high-performing attack-focused weapon for Ciaccona, Cadenza is honestly a great alternative, just with a different purpose. Instead of pushing her personal damage, it enhances her utility and rotation efficiency, which can be just as important in certain team setups. Use her skill, generate energy, switch her out, and keep the momentum going. It is a clean and efficient way to play her without needing flashy stats. Now let's get into Romance in Farewell, which is hands down the best 4-star weapon you can give to Ciaccona in Wuthering Waves. With a solid base attack of 462 and an 18% attack sub-stat, it already starts off strong. But what makes this weapon really shine is how well its passive effect lines up with Ciaccona's natural playstyle. Whenever Ciaccona deals damage to enemies affected by a negative status, she gains 8% attack for 10 seconds, and this effect can stack up to 4 times. Since she applies debuffs passively as part of her Aero erosion kit, triggering these stacks happens naturally during combat. That means you do not have to go out of your way to make it work, it just flows with her rhythm. And before you know it, you are sitting on a massive 32% attack bonus. For a character like Ciaccona, who thrives on attack percentage scaling to maximize her Aero erosion damage, this weapon is a dream come true. It fits both her mechanics and her damage needs perfectly. If you are building her and looking for a 4-star weapon that punches way above its weight, Romance in Farewell is absolutely the one to go for. Alright, now let's chat about Static Mist, one of the absolute best weapons you can put in Ciaccona's hands in Wuthering Waves. It comes peaked with a hefty base attack of 587 and a juicy 24% critical rate sub-stat, which means Ciaccona not only hits harder, but also crits more often. This weapon is definitely a strong contender if you want to boost her overall damage output. One of the coolest parts about Static Mist is its effect on energy regeneration. It increases it by 12.8%, helping Ciaccona build up her energy faster so she can cast her Resonance Liberation more frequently. And because her skills are all about timing and bursts, having that extra energy flow is a game changer. On top of that, when she uses her outro skill, Static Mist boosts the attack of the character who switches in by 10% for 14 seconds. This stackable buff adds some serious team synergy. What makes Static Mist so perfect for Ciaccona is how well it fits her kit and playstyle. It gives her critical rate, attack percentage, and energy regen, all things she desperately needs to maximize her damage. Plus, the ability to buff the next teammate when she exits the field is just icing on the cake, making Static Mist a fantastic free-to-play 5-star weapon that feels right at home with Ciaccona's flow in Wuthering Waves. Let's dive into Woodland Aria, a weapon that really elevates Ciaccona's role as a secondary damage dealer in Wuthering Waves. It boasts a strong base attack of 500 and a solid 36% critical rate sub-stat, which immediately ups her damage potential and critical hit consistency. This weapon is all about boosting her offensive power and making her attacks hit harder and more often. The real magic of Woodland Aria comes from its unique effect. It increases Ciaccona's attack by 12%, which is a straightforward but valuable boost. But the best part? When Ciaccona inflicts Aero erosion on enemies, she gains a 24% Aero damage bonus for 10 seconds, plus hitting those same targets reduces their Aero resistance by 10% for 20 seconds. This resistance shred doesn't stack, but it's super helpful for the entire team's damage output, especially if you have other characters that rely on Aero damage. So, giving Woodland Aria to Ciaccona doesn't just make her stronger alone, it also improves your whole team's rotation by softening enemies up against Aero damage. It's perfect for when you want Ciaccona to shine as a secondary DPS who can deal big damage while supporting teammates with debuffing enemies. Overall, this weapon fits her kit beautifully and makes her a serious threat in any battle. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.